Hey there, this is CP Cards and Dice, and I'm going to be doing an unboxing here. I received an order from Inside Pitch. I ordered the 1976 season, and I'm going to show you how it comes. I'm going to replay the Yankees 1976 season like I did 40 years ago. And this is what it looks like. That's what Inside Pitch comes like, all right? So it comes in a folder, and you undo the folder, and cards are in color. I ordered the color version. They're about $60. A little bit for a few dollars more, you get the color version. Hey there, Delaware. How are you, brother? And I'm just showing this. Just made this order and received it pretty quickly. And the 1976 set. So these are the stadiums. Comes with all the stadiums. Yankee Stadium. Now I'm going to play the 1976 Yankees, and they start off playing the Brewers in Milwaukee. So I'm going to need those stadiums. Need the Yankee Stadium and the let's see, Milwaukee County Stadium. And they all have their very unique colors. As you can see, it's that blue and yellow. And then you have the green and the yellow for Oakland. So it really stands out, so you can tell all the teams apart. Mr. Moley, how you doing there? And then a couple of guys there. All right, so basically I'm going to be playing a county stadium for a couple of games, and then a couple of games, I think against Baltimore. I can't remember off the top of my head. But I'm starting to separate those already. And then this is Inside Pitch, so you can see how Inside Pitch comes when you order it. Here are all the teams. Baltimore. Let's look and see what we're getting here. Starts off with I got some extra players on here that are kind of out of order. Chicago, Detroit, Cleveland, Cleveland. So I got Monroe, Roberts, Fidrich, Dobson, Eckersley, and Jackie Brown. The Quentin Tarantino movie, Jackie Brown. Philip Reynolds, how are you, brother? Yes, a box. So here you got the excuse me, the Baltimore Orioles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is Jackson played with the Orioles in '76. Had 500 at bats with the Orioles. So that's 9 and another 9. Who else? That is Bobby Grich with the Orioles. So they had a pretty decent team. So 9 and 9. That is, I guess this is all hitters. From what I'm seeing, this is all hitters. And then I have 3 more hitters. Right? Chopay, who played in 14 games, 20 at bats. So I think you get everybody who had at least 20 at bats, because that's how low it'll go, I believe. So altogether, we have 21 batters for Baltimore. Wait a second. See, this is peculiar. Now I get another 3 Baltimore batters on top here. Oh no, these are Baltimore pitchers now. Look at that. Wait a second. All right, then it jumps to Boston. It's got a line of Boston Red Sox, and then it goes back to Baltimore. Oh, this is going to be wacky putting this together. All right. So now I guess the pitchers start. So I had 21 batters, and I got 1, 2, 3. Palmer, Garland, and May. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 pitchers. That's what I'm seeing. I got 12 pitchers and 21 batters. That's 33 players. Let's check another let's take a look at the Boston Red Sox. Now, I saw some Boston Red Sox over here. There's 3 Boston Red Sox, 3 pitchers. This is all kind of out of whack, really. So 3 Boston Red Sox there. And now it starts with the batters. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Another 9 batters. That's 18 batters, right? 18 batters. Goes up to 23 at bats. And then it jumps to the pitchers. So I had 3 pitchers on the other page, and I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12. 12 pitchers. And in this case, it was 18 batters. So that's going to be 30 players there. 30 players with Boston. Next is California. And it starts off with the hitters. So I got 18 hitters. And then, wait a second. Did I have more than 18 hitters? More than 12 or 18. Let me see. Boston. These are the pitchers. And then, all right, here are the hitters. That's 9 hitters, 18 hitters. Oh, wait. No, this is a pitcher. Oh, no, he's a hitter. He's a hitter. All right. Lefty. Eight games, 2-1. Wait a second. It's crazy. Yeah, it's all mixed up. So here I got hitters, right? Butch Hobson, I know he's a hitter, but then it goes to pitchers. Reggie Cleveland, Tom Murphy, these guys, Bill Lee, these guys are pitchers. Then it goes to hitters again. Okay, that's 18 hitters. And then in this page back here, so anyway, this is going to be fun putting it together. What I'm looking for is the Yankees. Not sure what comes here, to be honest with you. When I start, I really don't care what comes. Whatever comes, comes. Cleveland. Sometimes I order stuff. I don't know if you guys, if 1 card per player. Yeah, okay, 1 card per player. Hey, when it does that stuff, this camera. Camera like has a heartbeat. Don't know why it does that. Look at that. See that? It's like trying to, let's see. Now it stops. I don't know. I don't understand it. All right. So, and then when I put my hand in front of it, it starts doing that again. It starts trying to. Okay. So what up there? National League pitchers with enough at bats, hitting cards as well. ID Gesture says the picture cards are the ones with the P on them. Thanks, brother. Thanks. And that's the P, but it's not that they have a P. It's where the P is. And I just realized it's at the upper right-hand corner. That's where I got to look. Okay, you're right. There it is. There's the P up there. Upper right-hand corner. That'll tell you if it's a hitter or a pitcher. All right. Still learning this thing. So now I'm looking over. I'm going to the Yankees. Milwaukee. The Yankees are going to be playing Milwaukee, so I can start separating these. And thanks to ID Gesture and John, I think it was Clausen. I believe it's Clausen who helped me out. A combination of ID Gesture's tutorial online to try to get the rosters from Retro Sheet. That was a trip for me. I had a hard time figuring that out. I had to get help. But then ID Gesture did a little bit differently than I was taught to do it. I think I would. He did a little bit. He was a little bit more complicated, and that's what threw me off when I just try to watch his videos. And his videos are great. The ID Gestures are, but he's a little bit too advanced for me. ID Gesture, you got to slow it down, brother. And what are you saying about the camera? Your camera has a hard time focusing on white paper. That is normal, man. Really? Oh, I didn't know that. You learn something new all the time. All right, so, yeah, ID Gestures, he does how to upload rosters to BallStat, BallScore, and I tried watching it. There was a lot going on there for me. So then I had to go somebody had to go step by step, and it was a little bit simpler the way they did it. ID Gesture, I think, is just a little bit, taught it a little bit more complicated for me. He did like a folder for something. I don't know. He had to unzip, whereas mine are unzipped already. And so that was a little bit harder for me. So that's like an intermediate video I think he did. He didn't do the basic Ballstat uploading a roster, Ballstat ball score for dummies. You see, you got to add that dummies thing there, ID Jester, for dummies. You got to do the. All right, Milwaukee, and these are the hitters, because on the upper right hand corner has their position. That's how I know. And I recognize some names, but so I'm taking these apart already, and I don't want to tear it. There you go. I was traveling for a couple of days, so I was offline. Every day is a school day. That's right. You figure it gets, you eventually graduate, but not really. The whole life is a continual learning, and then you die. Right? And then hospice visits you. The hospice team visits you and gives whoever's watching over you a book that says months to live, weeks to live, days to live, hours to live, and minutes to live. And under each one of those categories, there's a procedure and there's steps and there's instructions. It's like, and there's rare plays as well. And a dice roll, right? In APA, you'd roll a 12. That'd be a double play. That's it. That's minutes to live. Okay. So much for the Christmas spirit, right, guys? The positive talk. All right, I'm taking apart the Milwaukee Brewers. Now, these are going to be the, again, still batters, pitchers now. Oh, wait, now it goes to Kansas City, but then it jumps back to Milwaukee. Okay. So this is going to be wild. So then it's Kansas City. Oh. There you go. So this is a lot of separating. It reminds me of another company. You got to separate a bunch of stuff. And then we'll look at a couple of the cards real quick and see what is what with this card, with these cards. Played a few games of Inside Pitch, and I started getting comfortable with it, and I said, heck, I can play this. This seems like a fun game. So I'm going to try to play the 1976 Yankee season. They actually make it to the World Series. It's a season I played when I was a kid, but I used APA. And I didn't know that, but I used APA's roster, and APA's roster starts off by the listing the pitchers most frequently used. Starts off with their starters, then goes into their relievers. So I didn't know. So every time I went to a team, I used the top three from the roster, from the team roster, and those always happen to be the A and B pitchers. So what happened? My Yankees halfway through the season are all batting 220, and I'm like, holy crap! I can't get these guys to hit any better than this. I don't understand why. So I played the whole season. And all my batting average were like 210, 200. I think my best batter was like 250. And I couldn't understand why. I said, oh, man, this really sucks. So then I don't know when suddenly it dawned on me that, oops, I never really faced any deep pitchers. Because the second time they faced those teams, guess what I did? I looked at the top three pitchers in the roster and pulled those same three pitchers again. So the whole season, all they did was face A and B pitchers. Yeah, that sucked. But I still got through it, and I had a blast. It was like the best time of my life, obviously. 55 years later, I'm still rolling dice, so I must have had a good time. I just wish that I would have stayed locked in that room and rolled the rest of my life and never came out. I'd be much happier now. All right, so I got let's look at one of the better batter. Oh, you know who they had in 76? I remember that. Hank Aaron was a Brewer in 76. Let me see if I could find him. I remember playing this, and I remember Hank Aaron. I said, man, he should have a really good card. And then I'd look at his card, and it was kind of, that's because it was the end of his career. He should be here somewhere. Darryl Porter, Charlie Moore, Don Money. Hank Aaron, there he is. There's Hank Aaron's card. His stats were 10 home runs and 271 at bats, which is not bad for his last season in the majors. Right? Let's see. 85 games. So he played half the season. I guess he played against lefties mostly, I imagine. Played a little bit of left field, but played a lot of DH. Not a very good left fielder. Didn't make too many errors because I don't think he played in the left field very much. I think he was mostly a DH. And had a 229 average. So it was not the Hank Aaron that we know and love. He played one season too many. And I really like the system that the inside pitch uses. You know, you roll 2 6-sided die. It's real simple. Just roll 2 6-sided die, and then the 6 is the column. I mean, you can do it either way, but that's how I do it. 6 is the column, and then the second die, though, like the white die, would be the row. So a 6-4 would be a D6, which is a grounded short. So most of the results are off the cards, and that's what my I don't know. My expectation is when I play. I don't like charts. I'm not a big chart guy. That's why I really like payoff pitch. I really like payoff pitch. I like strat because the results are off the cards. And any game that has a lot of results off the cards, deep drive has the results off the cards. Any game like that has primarily the results off the cards, I really like. Replay doesn't have the results off the cards, but it's a pretty simple chart system, not too complicated, and you get used to it, and then you start memorizing some numbers, and so that's not too bad. So let's look at a pitcher's card. Let's look at the pitchers. They didn't have bad pitchers, believe it or not. This was one of their starters, 225 innings. This guy would be getting paid, like $100 million today. He had a 3.71 ERA. He'd be one of the top ERAs in the league. He pitched 225 innings. He would have pitched if he played today. He'd have the most innings pitched in the season, right? He was 9-15. Holy smokes! Not a strikeout guy. He had only 100 strikeouts in 225 innings, so he's not going to be getting a lot of strikeouts. So the way you play this is, let me get again, you roll, let's say you roll a 5 and a 4. So you go to the column 5, and the game tells you if it's a blank on the hitter card, where is that? Anyway, I don't see any blanks. Oh no, I'm sorry. It's you start with the pitcher first. Sorry. So anyway, if it's a 5-4 and let's say it goes to a blank, then you go off the hitter's card. But if you roll the 5-4, you go column 5, you look at 4, and it's ballpark. That @ symbol means ballpark, and there's another ballpark card, and I cut it out. I don't know why I lost it already. So I haven't even gotten the thing out of the box yet, and I already lost the card. So yeah, so that's the way it works. So you look at the pitcher first, and then let's see another result. A 1-2. A 1-2 would be a potential home run. With that question mark, you'd roll here. If it's a right-handed batter, you roll a 20-sided die. And we rolled a 17. Oh, that's just within. Well, we got to look at the home run rating of the ballpark as well. So let's say it was a 0. We rolled a 17. It's 1-18. So now you look at the batter's card, Henry Aaron. And then against, let's say he was pitching again. Well, he's facing Colborn, who's a righty, Jim Colborn. He's a righty. So you'd look over here, 19 or less, as long as it's 0 in the ballpark, 19 or less. So then we roll a home, and that's a deep drive to left field, and that's out of here. It's gone. Got a hold of that one. So Hank Aaron hits a home run off of Jim Colborn here in the unboxing of Inside Pitch. We're still pulling apart the Milwaukee Brewers. Ben Franklin, Bob Franklin. I'm sorry. I was gonna say, dude, thank you very much for all the work you did early on. But Bob Franklin is playing football, and there's a bunch of guys playing football, and I object to that. I mean, I object to that. Actually, Giants are my favorite team, and then the Jets. My father's favorite team were the Denver Broncos because of Elway. Yes, 25 years ago. All right. There we go. So Pete Broberg is another pitcher. So it's a good game. It's a good game. And 76 is not, 76 is not available. A lot of game companies don't have 1976. But guess what? Inside Pitch does happen to have 1976. Strat doesn't have 1976. Replay has 1976, I believe. Some guys showed me 1976, and then they linked me to 1976. Strat does not have 1976. Deep Drive does not have 1976. Payoff Pitch does not have 1976. So there's a bunch of games that I like, or tabletop systems that I like that did not have 1976. That's the bicentennial year. Let's see if I get that out. Bicentennial year. Moose Haas, he's another pretty decent pitcher. Oh, wait, no, that was not his year. Wait a second. That's the future is a Haas future. Let's see who another starter was. I'm looking at by their innings pitched. Broberg had 92 innings pitched. Eduardo Rodriguez had 136 innings pitched, 3.64 ERA, 5-13 record. So Milwaukee was terrible. So the Yankees should have their way with the Milwaukee Brewers. And these cards are nice and big. They're easy to read. These letters are huge. I just noticed that. Okay, they're ginormous. Now, the set that I had, I got this little itty-bitty set. And that's a lot smaller. This was their practice set for $7. They gave me the 2008 World Series teams. These are way nicer, man. Look at that. I can even read the results off these cards. So that's an issue that a lot of card makers are having. And guys are having issues being able to read the results because they make them so small. And a lot of our guys are losing their eyesight. So let's see. We got the Brewers ready to roll. What did I do with the Brewer? What did I do with the I never separated it. You see that? Because I'm a genius. Okay, County Stadium. The Yankees are in County Stadium. It's 90 degrees, palm trees in County Stadium in April, beginning of April, 1976. I think it's Gerald Ford is the president. The 44 caliber killer is getting ready. I think he's already committing atrocities in '76. Not sure. It takes a while for him to get caught. He doesn't get caught till the summer of '77, I think. No, what? No, I'm shocked. Yeah. No. Wait a second. Let's qualify. Strat does have 1976, but to get it, you got to pay $300. Okay, and it's not super advanced. It's just the regular white cards they call them. And yeah, exactly. So don't be shocked. They have them. So let's not be negative. All right, I don't want negativity on my channel. Let's be negative. They have them. Just have to dish out $300, and then guess what's going to happen the minute you dish out $300? Yeah, I'm going to release them with the super advanced. All right, and your $300, it's like if you threw it in the toilet and flushed it, or you threw it in the barbecue pit. Now I'm doing the Yankees. Thurman Munson, 1976. What a player, man. What a player. He plays a little right field, a little left field. Batted .302, 17 home runs, 105 RBIs. 76, I think he was He was something. So was he the MVP of 1976? Was Thurman Munson the MVP of 1976? That's my question. Who knows? And 27 cards only. Yeah, don't remind me of that. Who's reminding me of that? Forever. 27 cards. You're right. You're absolutely good. You're absolutely right. Okay, so Munson, 1976. Um, oh yeah, he earns the 1976 AL MVP. Thurman Munson. Look at that. And this was his MVP year: 17 home runs, 105 RBIs, a 3.02 average. Man, they had, but I mean, he was the heart and soul of the Yankees, and they did get all the way to the World Series. So I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to be negative about Thurman Munson because he was a great player. Rest in peace. I actually played his last 10 games, I believe, and they're on video somewhere. Using payoff pitch, his last 10 games in August. His last 10 games in the last 10 days of July, because I think he died in the plane crash August 2nd. And I talk about Thurman Munson throughout, through every game. I talk about all his awards and how he, his contribution to the Yankee franchise for all those years, for 10 years that he played. Lou Piniella, Willie Randolph were part of this team. Greg Nettles, who later goes on to play with the San Diego Padres in the big years, the '84 season. I know he was with them. Oscar Gamble is on this team. In '77, he's playing with. He's actually playing with Demo Dave's 1977 replay. He's with the White Sox, but I think he comes back to the Yankees in '79. And I'm talking about Oscar Gamble. Oscar Gamble had a fro on him, boy. He's like one of the cast members from Blackula. If you've ever seen Blackula, he's like one of the cast members from Blackula. With the afro, he had a great afro, man. This guy's classic. And if you haven't seen that movie, you got to see the little mini dance scene in the nightclub. That's a professional dance team, I'm telling you. And the singer, what a voice! And man, she's got some moves on her. I'll tell you, this is when Blackula meets the love of his life at the nightclub. Anyway, Oscar Gamble, what does he do? Batted. Hey man, they gave him a chance to play. He played 2/3 of the season, 340 at bats, 17 home runs, in basically, let's say half the season. So, if you let's say 600 bats, and you're not good at math, you could say about 30 home runs. So he would, in a full season, he would hit about 30 home runs. He batted only 232 though, so that's an issue. He did have 57 RBIs, which is good because if you double that, it would have been 120 RBIs. So he was clutch. He was clutch for the Yankees in '76. I really like that. Okay, and I mean that's key. If you're going to get into the playoffs, you need clutch players. Have a bunch of other guys. Elliot Maddox, he plays for the Mets in '79. Sandy Alomar. Jim Mason goes on to play with the Montreal Expos. Otto Velez in '77. Who knows? This is trivia. 1977. Otto Velez goes to which team? Time's up. Nobody typed it. All right, he goes to the Toronto Blue Jays. Yep, he's part of the expansion draft. They pick him off the Yankees, or I guess the Yankees allow him to be chosen, right? You had to choose 5 players that you're willing to give up or something like that. Wasn't that the deal? I don't know exactly how that works. I'm sure one of you guys does. But yeah, you pick some players that you're willing to allow to be drafted by the expansion team. So basically, guys Ron Fairley, I think, was with the Blue Jays in 1977. So certain either older guys or I don't know how they get those guys, but nobody ever becomes really, really good. I mean, they hold their own. I mean, but Otto Velez never became, a notable player, really. All right. I don't want to. So I'm separating the two teams I'm going to start off playing. I'm going to use Ballstat to do it. So I got it all set up. I was playing a couple of seasons, and I'm going to one season, the 69 Mets, I'm going to restart it because now I figured out. Actually, you know what? I may not restart that season because I wasn't able to get the lineups for 69 lineups. It seems that the Yahoo group doesn't have the 69 lineups. Yep. So I don't think the 69 lineups are available. They may be available. I may be wrong. If somebody has the 69 lineups, can somebody send me the 69 lineups for from the Yahoo group, the retro sheet Yahoo group? I applied to be a member there, and I'm still waiting, but I don't know if they're going to have those lineups for the 69 season. But if somebody has them, send them to me at combatpainter at Gmail or at Yahoo. Either one doesn't matter. Okay, so I got the Yankees. The Yankees, I tore them apart, and here's some more pictures. Oh, I want to mention Catfish Hunter. Look at him. Catfish Hunter was 17 and 15, 32 decisions. Holy smokes. 3.53 ERA, 298 innings pitched, 268 hits allowed, 173 strikeouts. Holy smokes. Wow. Ed Figueroa was big. Kenny Holtzman. These are two ex-Oakland A's from the big years, 72, 73, 74. Hunter and Holtzman. Holtzman was 14 and 11 with a 3.65 ERA, 246 innings pitched. So the Yankees kind of took all the players, and then the following year they're going to take Reggie Jackson as well. So they said, well, let's recreate the Oakland A's, or somewhat the Oakland A's. And I think, didn't the Yankees want Vita Blue as well? I think the Yankees wanted Vita Blue as well. So I'm getting ready to play Milwaukee and against the Yankees, 1976. I'm separating. I'm using Inside Pitch. I will do some tutorials for dummies. Oh, I still got more guys here. Now it's some more pitchers here. Doyle Alexander. Doc Ellis was with the Yankees. He gave him 211 innings pitched, 3.19 ERA, 17 and 8. So he had an above-average season in 1976. Sparky Lau was their closer with 23 saves, 103 innings pitched. Dick Tidrow was their kind of middle guy. Grant Jackson was their lefty specialist. Ron Guidry was around, but he only pitched 16 innings. So this is pretty cool, man. The only thing with Inside Pitch, if I want to find somebody who played with the Yankees, like I think who played with the Yankees? 76. Was it Rudy May that started off the season with the Yankees? And then he was traded? I think it was Rudy May who started off the 76 season with the Yankees and later got traded to, I think, the Baltimore Orioles. So in Inside Pitch, I have to go to Baltimore Orioles and find Rudy May. That's the thing. They don't have a separate card for every team that the guy played on. So then you're going to have a card, with a little bit different, it could be a green card with the blue team and that sort of thing. But, hey, beggars can't be choosers, right? Beggars can't be choosers. So I got a bunch of players here. And this is going to be it. And then we're going to look for Rudy May. The reason I know that is because I'm replaying the 1976 season using Action PC Baseball. I'm playing 4 different seasons on Action PC Baseball, but I only go to it whenever, every so often, whenever I get a little bit tired of rolling. Then I'll say, let me play some. And then when I play the video game, when I play the computer games, I'm like, no, I got to roll again. I've had enough of this. It's like you're not part of the experience. I don't know. I need to have the roll. I need to have the feel of the cards. I want to get dirty, down and dirty. Hey man, thank you, ID Jester. You guys are class acts. I'm telling you, the greatest guys in the world are these guys that roll these games and they're always doing stuff for each other. You know, it's really cool. It's great to be part of this community. You know, we don't have to see each other in person, but we have a strong connection. It's almost as if we did see each other in person. And let me see if I'm right about that crazy thing I was talking about, Rudy May. I think I passed Baltimore because there is some semblance of alphabetical order, although I'm not very good in spelling either. I think the B's are early on in the alphabet. Boston, Cleveland, Baltimore. Okay. Let's see. Rudy May. Rudy May. Is Rudy May with Baltimore? Or am I crazy? There he is, Rudy May. Boom. So I was right. See? So Rudy May is going to be on the Yankees, I believe, for the first part of the season. So he's going to have orange and black. He's going to be orange and black with the Yankees. But I have to have him on there because I know he comes up and he pitches. And then once he gets traded, then I pass him on to Baltimore and I switch him. All right, so let me get a quick sip here. Oh, wait, drink. All right. And that's it. So that's it for an inside pitch. I showed you a little bit. We had a little chit-chat. And I showed you. I'm not going to take them all apart now. That's not how I do it, guys. I only take them out slowly. But, you know, when I get to the next team, I think the next team is actually Baltimore. So I'll leave this one on top. I think it's Baltimore. So I'm going to put this aside in a safe place so I don't mix it up. And I want to learn the rules really well so I don't have to look at the charts, barely have to look at the charts. I'm learning the double play. The double play is cool because you check the runner on first base. If he's really fast, sometimes he beats the throw to second. So you don't get the force and you got to go to first base. So it's a little bit different. In other words, you look at how many double plays the pitcher caused, how many double plays the batter hit into. You combine those. Then you look at the pivot guys. Were the pivot guys really, really good or weak? And that has an influence. That's how you start. Now, it could be a double play or not. If it's not a double play, then you got to check the runner at first speed. And it becomes like second nature because once you know the runners pretty much, they're either fast or slow, and then you can kind of gauge what the deal is. But so if the runner's really fast, then he's going to beat it out at second base, so your play's to first. But if the runner's kind of mediocre or slow and you roll, I think the slower runners are lower numbers. So if you roll above, like if my catcher's a 1 and I roll a 2, well, he's going to be out at second base. But if my guy's like, Ricky Henderson, he's a 5 and I roll a 3 under 5, then he's going to be safe at second and I got to throw to first. So that's kind of cool. So the faster batters will get to second base, will put themselves into scoring position. Is it like APA where the player is carded for the last team he played for? Yes, exactly. Exactly like APA. And the player is carded for the last team he played for, yes. But what I do with APA is I just go to Steve's card maker and I make another card for him so I don't have to go. Actually, that's not true. It depends. Yeah, I won't be making – because that's more steps than just going into the envelope. But I will have to go to Baseball Reference and I will have to say, oh, I don't have this guy's card. I don't know how many bats he had. But was he traded? He may not be included in the set. I don't know. But let me see if he was traded during the season. So I have to do that. And then if I don't see him traded, let's say he didn't have enough, he wasn't carded, then I have to go to Steve's APA card maker to make the card real quick to be playing. Now I'm playing the 1987 Mets rolling APA basic, and I'm going to create. I have to go back to Ballstat, and I'm going to start replaying that season. Although I guess what I'm doing is with a lot of seasons is that it saves a lot of time. Ballstat saves a lot of time because it has it's amazing. It saves a lot of time. It has all the rosters, and then it has all the lineups for the games. So that saves you tons of time. And one thing that's finite, guys, is time. We have the money, we have the space for the cards. We have the motivation and the joy of playing our games. But the one thing that we don't have a lot of we can't get more of is time. Right? I can get more cards. Even if these get damaged, I can get another set. It's not the end of the world. One thing I can't get, One thing I can't get is more time. So you got to take care of yourself, and that's critical. Go to the doctor and have your checkups, and go to the gym, work out a little bit before you roll your games. So that's critical. So yeah, what was I going to say? Yep. So that's, I think, what I want to do. So I have both my teams. Both my teams. I'm going to separate these guys. Let me see. For my opinion, better than Appa. Yes, that's it. You go off the pitcher card. I mean, I don't understand any system that doesn't go off the pitcher card. I mean, if just to quote Keith Hernandez, it's baseball is a battle between the pitcher and the hitter. I mean, that's from I'm Keith Hernandez. That's his quote. I'd cite the page, but I don't remember the page. But anyway, it's in there. And I think it's critical. I think it's critical to, if you know baseball, if you sat in a lot of baseball games, it's about the pitcher, man. What is he throwing, if he can fool the batter or not? I mean, and a lot of these games, particularly this one, is the pitcher has a great influence on walks, strikeouts, and then home runs. And then you look at the batter's tendency. So first is the pitcher. That decides what it's going to be. And then you look at the batter. Then the batter's tendency. So on those three categories, it starts off in the pitcher's end. So I really like that idea. That concept makes sense to me. Payoff pitch does that. Replay baseball does that. Has that interaction, that constant interaction. It's just not one-sided. But these are, I mean, these games are, I think, developed later than Strat and APA. When I don't know if baseball insight and scholarship was at the level of knowing all that. I don't know that it was back then, 50s. So you got to be respectful of tradition, and I think I am. I know. I still play the other two games, but if you haven't, one thing I wanted to talk to you guys about quickly is deep drive baseball. Deep drive baseball is, I think it's a lot of fun. It's a quick, easy play. You don't have to be a brain surgeon. It's pretty simple. Everything's off the cards, right? There's just a couple of chart lookups. It's got a good range and defensive checks, and they come up often. So, but it's pretty instinctual, where you get it. You can kind of identify the numbers. Like if it's a 99, well, then the odds are like in the range. If it's a 99, the odds are that it's a hit. And then you pretty much know your players. It's from 1 to 5, I believe. So if there are threes, most guys are threes. Then you got some low guys and you got some high guys. But you can just kind of go over, scan the team first for like guys that really stand out. Like if you got like Mark Belanger on your Baltimore team, let's look at what he's right here. He's a 5. That's the top of the line, right? For you guys that know inside pitch, Mark Belanger, is one of the premier defenders of that era, and he's a 5. So he's a really good defender. Okay, and so that sort of thing. So anyway, that's what I wanted to say, and and going back to deep drive baseball, it's a blast. So check it out if you get a chance. It's $1 to try it out. And, it's an easy game to play if you want to introduce somebody to tabletop games. It's real easy to play. It's real easy to learn. The cards are nice. It's a clean card. There's not a lot of, it's not overwhelmed with writing. It's pretty easy to read. So, yep. So that's it. That's it for now. This is an unboxing of Inside Pitch Baseball. Now, I don't know. Does anybody know if Inside Pitch Baseball has any fast action cards? I don't know if they do. I really like fast action cards. I like using them with dice. Another thing I like about Inside Pitch Baseball is that it uses a 20 and 2 6-sided die, nice and simple. So the 20 reminds me of course, Stratomatic, and then the 2 6-sided die as well. Also APA. This would be an 11 in APA. And it's an 11 here. So it's a 1 column 1 and then across a row 2, right? So that it is on Rudy May. Let's see what else Rudy May starts off the pitcher. 35 would be a 3, column 3, and a 5 is going to be a strikeout potential off the batter's card. So then you're going to roll off the batter's card, and if he's pitching to Mike Hegan, then you're going to look at his K is 17 against a lefty. So 17 or less. Let's see if Rudy May picks up a strikeout here. And it's an 18, so it's not a strikeout. So now you're going to roll off the batter's card. So now he gets a chance to get a hit. Let's see what he does. 14. Oh, wait, that's the wrong one. Sorry. Oh. All right, it's a 34. It's a 3-4. So column 3 and a 4 is a ground ball to the first baseman. And that's Chris Chambliss. Scoops it up, takes it himself, and that retires the side. So anyway, let's see. Not seeing any. Okay, no fast action. Alan says no fast action. Why not design some? Oh, hold on, my friend. I'm into the rolling. Remember, if I start designing, it's going to take me away from the rolling. I respect guys that design. I need them. So I will not. I'm not going to crush any designers. That's for sure, because I need those guys to keep designing, and I need to pump them up. So I'm trying to support them as much as possible. Because if we lose our designers, then we have to design. And if we have to design, then we can play. So I like to play. I like to roll, So I can't do we need each other. It's a symbiotic relationship. It's like the pretty much, it's freaking frack. All the games I've watched on YouTube, they've almost never changed pitchers in a realistic way on IP. Okay, but that that person playing, I always stick to my fatigue rules and change them. It's the same with all the games. What do you? I'm not sure what Alan is trying to say. I think he's talking about the fatigue rules and payoff pitch. I may have missed that. Usually play. Let's see if I'm going to follow this thread because they are rated on number of batters. Oh yeah. I see what you're saying. Yes, and I do go by the number of batters. I think that's critical. And I made that suggestion to payoff pitch. I've told Joe that, hey, Joe, I think you got to put the number of batters. I think that's important. And that's going to make a difference because I think it gives you a more specific guideline to follow. I think it's payoff pitch. And I have cards right here. I mean, I'll pull one out. Jerry Koosman. I just played a great game with Jerry Koosman. Jerry Koosman is allowed to go 8 innings, and I believe that in the 8th inning, he becomes fatigued if he's allowed 3 or more runs. But what if he's pitched to, 42 batters? What if he's just gotten out of the innings? There's too much. What if in 7 innings he's pitched to, 33 batters or 35 batters or 40 batters? I don't know. I think it's too vague. And I think this may create issues with batting averages because you have a tendency to say, holy smokes, he's Jerry Koosman. I'm going to leave him in there as much as I can. He had a 2.28 ERA. I mean, he only completed half the games. I try to get him to finish the game. I played today, and you can see it. It's on there, payoff pitch, Koosman versus the Pirates. I tried to get him through the game. I couldn't in the 9th. He walked a guy, and then he gave up a single, and then he walked the next guy, and that's when I pulled him. I pulled him he got an out. He walked a guy, he gave up a single, and then I brought in Tug McGraw. You see, so I kind of go by feel, and I look at the hits. If I see they get to about, if they get 8 or 9 hits, I start saying, okay, I'm going to pull them. I don't know if that's right, but I think I feel that's right. So if even if they haven't given up a lot of runs and they start giving up 8 or 9 hits, I'm like, well, and he's constantly every inning, he's getting out of trouble. Those are high stress innings. And if you know baseball and you've been on the field with players, you know that a walk or an error or a hit has the same effect on a pitcher pretty much. In other words, you got a runner on and you don't want to let him score because you want to win this game. Right? Whether he got on by a hit, whether he got on by a walk, whether he got on by an error, the stress is there. You're aware Now you got to pitch, from the stretch, and and you got to be aware of the batter, and you got to be aware of the pitcher, of the batter and of the runner. So it affects you. It affects you. So even errors. So sometimes when a lot of the rules say, well, we're not going to count errors against the pitcher because it wasn't his fault. But guess what? The stress level and my argument, and I respect that if you don't agree. I know pitchers and I talk to pitchers, right? And they'll tell me, "Oh yeah, I mean, if there's a guy on base, he's messing with my head right there. Like I'm changing my game plan if there's a guy on. I don't care if he got on by a walk. I don't care if he lined the single to center. Okay, of course, if you've given up 4 or 5 drives, that's an additional stress factor. But any guy that's on base is going to cost the pitcher mental, emotional, and physical energy. So really, you should, like, let's say in status pro, you know how you reduce, you're playing status pro, and he gets a number, he gets whatever, 16 batters faced or whatever, and every time somebody reaches on a even an intentional walk should reduce the pitcher. Why? Because he's dealing with another guy on base, and and this is just an added weight on his shoulders. That's what this is, just one argument. You know what I'm saying? Just to get a discussion going. But I think it's an interesting argument. Yeah, yeah. All right. Alan says it's up to you. All the games make it up to you if you want to let them go. Absolutely, we can change these numbers, right? I can change that 8 and make it a 9 or make it a 7, right? Nobody's going to tell me what to do. I'm the commissioner here in my office. So you guys, when you come to my office, guess what? You got to play by my rules because I'm the commissioner. I make the rules. Otherwise, I'll ban you from baseball and you won't make it to the Hall of Fame, right? So we can, I have a card. Oh wait, where's my Mets card for the? Oh, that vanished. I don't know what I do with that. I think I put all those cards away. Oh wait. Anyway, I have a card for the ones you print out with Deep Drive Baseball PDFs. I don't know what I did with them. I put them somewhere. And I changed Rosario's speed because I spoke to the designer, and the designer said, you know what? He was kind of in the gray area of being fast and being average based on his numbers, because everything is based on the numbers, on the metrics in Deep Drive. So he's not scouting every player. That's why he can pump these things out pretty quick, and he can, he's not scouting every single player, but he uses metrics, which I think is fair. Is fair to do that, especially nowadays when everybody uses metrics. I think whole management has become a metrics kind of driven endeavor. So he basically said, yeah, he was on the, and he gave me some numbers. I don't know what numbers he used. It's in the email he sent me. And he says, Ahmed Rosario, and I know Ahmed Rosario because I watch 162 Met games. So the guy can fly. I mean, the guy can fly. So I said, there's no way this guy has average speed. And he looked at the metrics, he looked at the numbers, and he said, well, he was in between. He was in the gray area. So I erred on the side, of being, conservative. And I said, okay, that's fine. And he said, but if you feel that, strongly about it, you can change it. And I put in a little F instead of, the blank. I wrote a little F in there. And so I changed the card number. So who's going to tell me no? Who's going to, who's going to visit me? The CIA or who, Interpol or, Homeland Security? It's going to tell me, hey, you've crossed the line. You're a traitor to your country. You're a traitor to your tabletop country. No. So anyway, it's on innings, which isn't good, but I don't allow them to go more than one. Well, Bob says that most of us leave our starter in until they get into trouble. I pretty much agree. But with a disclaimer. I'm playing the 2019 using Deep Drive, right? I'm playing 2019 using Deep Drive, and he's fairly realistic in the way he does his. Let me show you how that works real quick. I know I'm off topic here, but let's look at a picture real quick, and I'll show you how it works. All right, here's a picture. I want to get a guy that so people know. Let me get it. I mean, we probably know all of them, but let me get somebody that's more well known, like a Scherzer or Odorizzi. Okay, Jake Odorizzi, right? The way they do it in deep drive baseball, see that SP9? That's his endurance, and it says it nice and big there. That's why I like. Look how clean and simple these cards are. All the outs come off the card. Starts with the pitcher. Well, it actually starts with the batter and goes to the pitcher. It is a 50-50 system. Granted, it is a 50-50 system. Okay, but you have outs on the batter card, and then you have outs on the pitcher card. There is interplay in certain situations when you have specialists, like lefty-righty splits, but that's another issue. But going back to endurance, SP9, okay, what does that mean? That means he gets charged. Those are points. He's got 9 points to pitch. And every inning he pitches, it's a point. So if he's gone 6 innings, that's 6 points. He has 3 left. What else? If he's given up a run, that's 1 point. Not 1 point per run. If he's given up at least a run, that's 1 point. So now he's up to 7, right? So he's got, and then how many times has he gone through the batting order? So if he goes through, so if he's gone over twice, he would be at 9, and that would be his last inning. So the 6th inning would be Odorizzi's, unless he has a shutout, then he can go 1 more inning, right? So, and I try to, and pretty much guys are getting pulled out in the 6th or the 7th inning, and let's say like a Scherzer is going to have a 10. So a Scherzer can, and if he's pitching a shutout, he can go 9 innings. But of course, that doesn't happen very, very often. Let me see. Oh wait, this is the wrong team. Scherzer's not going to be on this team. Scherzer's on Washington. Sorry, guys. I know that. I just I don't know why I thought this was. There may be a guy from Washington on here. I don't know. Anyway, let me look for a picture. I saw this red, I think maybe, and that's why I thought it was. Let me look for a picture that has a 10. I don't know if they have any on Minnesota. Even though Minnesota didn't they make the playoffs? Berrios now. I'm looking for a guy with a. Oh, Taylor Rogers, guy with 2 first names. He's their closer. See, it says closer 1. That's how far he can go 1 inning. And then there's a rule he can go a little bit more if he gets out of the inning with with 1 out or 2 outs. He can go a little bit more. So there are rules that extend that. There's not a lot of rules. It's a pretty simple game. I want to pull a guy that has a higher endurance. Endurance 4. Wow, I don't know anybody on this team. It really sucks. Anyway. Who's that? Okay, I have Miami. I don't know anybody on Miami either. And I don't know what I did with the other cards. So I moved them somewhere. I don't know why I moved them. Just because I didn't have any more space. That's why, except for these 2 packs. Let me see if I could track them down real quick. This is hilarious. I don't know what I do with them. Let me see. What I do with my Mets. Hold on a second. Well, anyway, you know what? I can't find the cards. I looked all over. Oh, wait. Here they are. I got some stuff under my. All right, let's look at here the Mets. That's the team I know. All right. So let's look at a guy like Vargas is a 9, so he can go 9 points. But if you look like if you look at DeGrom is going to have a 10, And even Wheeler, I believe, that's his hitting card. They got hitting cards for almost every pitcher. Matz, this is his pitch. He's a 9 as well. He doesn't go Matz. Okay, this is his pitching card. If you look at Wheeler, he goes endurance 10. See that? So he can go 10 points. In other words, if he's pitching a shutout and you can actually get an extra inning somewhere in the rules and so on if certain situations. But usually if you're pitching a shutout, you're going through the lineup twice, and then eventually you'll turn it over the third time. So basically he can go into the 8th inning. That'll be 8 points. Or 7th inning, right? 7th inning, that'll be 7. He completes the 7th inning, so he pitches 7 innings, and then he goes through the lineup twice. That would be 9. He still has one more. So then he can go into the 8th. He can go into the 8th inning, and basically, and then if you have 3 consecutive innings, perfect innings, in other words, 3 outs, 3 outs, 3 outs, 9 outs in a row, you get a plus point. So then that would allow him to get a plus point. So like if you're really, really, masterful, you're going to get an extra point here. So that's how they do it in this. So it works out really, this system works out very realistic. Okay, so you're constantly bringing in relief pitchers, 6 in the 7th inning, in the 6th inning, in the 7th inning. It starts in the 6th inning, depending on what's going on, yeah. So it's realistic. And I try to, and that's really good about this game. So you're going to use a lot of pitchers the way really, like this is modern games. Hey, modern games are what they are. You're using a lot of pitchers. Okay. I know guys want to play modern games like they did, like we played games in the 70s and 80s and even the 90s, where pitchers went a little bit longer. But the reality is that everybody goes, the pitchers are going 6 innings, and then you got to pull. You have to have 3 relievers to finish the game. You got to have a reliever for the 7th inning, the 8th inning, and the 9th inning. And deep drive baseball makes that happen. And so does, I like the fact that they have the batters, and I like the fact that they have the second little number here. Let me see. That second little number means a combination of what? Hits and runs, and one other thing. I got to relook at that. Remember, I'm learning these rules. So hits and runs and walks, I believe. And if they add up to more than 12, then you can pull them. So that's if somebody's getting blasted, and he's faced 9 batters in the 1st inning, and then he faces another 3 batters who get on base in the 2nd inning. That would be 12 batters. That's he's total. Or what I mean is, if 9 batters get, once he allows 12 guys, a combination of hits, walks, and runs, and the total is 12, he gets pulled. So that's a cool number there as well. And that's a big part of the game nowadays. Not in 1976, but nowadays you definitely have to have those numbers to guide you. I just think that payoff pitch number is a little bit vague. It's okay because I don't have a problem with it, because I like to play the way I like to play, and I'm kind of realistic. But if you were going to use this in tournaments, you could potentially have a guy gave up 20 hits, in 6 innings, and he's still in there pitching away like nothing. Potentially, if you go by this, like 20 hits, but because it's 3 runs, so 20 hits, 2 guys were thrown out at the plate, a couple of double plays, he gave up 2 runs. You know what I'm saying? Maybe 20 hits is an exaggeration, but it could become iffy on a broad. In the 8th, he becomes fatigued. And who's going to ever let their pitcher pitch fatigued anyway? That tells me to pull them out. I would never because they're fatigue cards, but I never use fatigue cards. I don't understand that at all. You don't need a fatigue card, because I'm not going to let a pitcher pitch when he's fatigued. Six runs with the starter and pop. Yes, 6 runs total. Right. Well, no. 6 runs and then he becomes fatigued, right? So if he gives up 6 runs, he becomes fatigued. But he also becomes fatigued if he's given up more than 3 runs, right, by the 8th inning. 3 runs or more. 3 runs or more by the 8th inning, he becomes fatigued. But if he's only given up 2 runs and 13 hits and 3 walks, he could potentially pitch the 9th, the 10th, the 11th, and the 12th. You know, giving up more hits and more walks. Yeah, exactly. Potentially. So that's a little bit, you know, it's a little bit soft on that approach to, you know. But when you have the number of batters, I think it really sends a more clear and direct message that, you know, you can't. It's not debate. It's not really debatable, because if you know, it's saying that on average this guy goes that number of batters, and I like to, and he may get pulled sooner. And you know what? Will I let him go an extra batter if he's like amazing? Sure. But Rudy May pitched 220 innings, 15-10 with a 3.72 ERA. So yeah, let me see. If he gives up 4 runs in the first, he can still pitch to his fatigue inning, but 6 runs he's fatigued immediately. Yeah, that's right. 6 runs, he's 6 earned runs, right? Not 6. So if there's unearned runs in there, I guess it's not. He doesn't get charged with those. So yeah. So if anybody wants to see any other cards, I got a lot of cards out. I got a lot of stuff here out. If anybody wants to see anything like that, fast action cards. If you don't have those, pick those up. This is a payoff pitch fast action card. These are gorgeous. And the way I use them for, it tells you up here, is it a range or it's an error? Let me see. See, look. You pull a card, you look up here. When it's defense, you look at range. You pull a card, it says error, or if you pull a card, a different card could say range shortstop. And then I'm going to roll on the ballpark card. And that's going to tell you every ballpark is rated differently for range and error. So that's how one way of using it. Then it tells you if it's a hit, right? If it's a range hit, and then the result on the ballpark card will tell you that. Then it's going to tell you what kind of hit. So you pull another fast action card, and you look at the hit section right here, and it's going to tell you, hey, it's a double. If it was hit to third base or first base, if it was hit to second base or shortstop or pitcher, it's a single. If it's hit in the outfield, it's a double. And with the 3 stars, that means runners advance 3 bases. Right? Let's say it was an error. Let's say you pull this error, second base, and the ballpark card says it was an error, right? Then you can look at what kind of an error to first base. Well, it was second base, so it's a 1-base error. Second base, shortstop, pitcher, it's a 1-base error. There you go. Okay. This is also good for bunt. Let's say you want to bunt with a guy who's an A bunter, but it's obvious he's going to bunt. You move it down to B, sacrifice hit, successful sacrifice, and to the third baseman. So it's going to be 5-4. Let's say if you're base stealing, right? Guy's normal base stealer, he's thrown out at second base. You pull this card. So you have to first roll to see if he gets a lead. If you get the lead, then you pull a card. And if he's normal base stealer, based on the catcher's arm and the runner's ability, then it's going to be he's out with normal. If he's a really good base stealer, then he's going to be safe at second base. All right, so that's how you use this. Now, let's say it's a single. You want to know how many bases the guys advance. You pull a card, long single into the gap. Runners advance 1 base. Runner on second scores. So then that, of course, is a different story. So if there was a runner on second, he scores, and then you could advance the guy to third base. Sometimes I do that. I make it, it depends. And that's how you do that. So if it was a double, all runners score. So if there was a guy at first base, he scores on that double. On this card, runners advance 2 bases. So they're going to hold up the runner at third base, the runner that was on first. If the bases are loaded, they'll hold up the runner on first base, or if they weren't loaded, doesn't matter. As long as there was a runner on first, they'll hold him up on third. If he was at second, he scores. Obviously, on a double, you're going to score. So that's the cool thing about these cards. I still roll the dice with payoff pitch. Sometimes I'll use these numbers, sometimes, but not very often. I have some videos out there where it's totally silent. So sometimes the dice get on my nerves. So then I just put them down. And I just pull numbers. So this number on the left is the pitcher's number. And then I pull another card for the batter's number, 87. That's probably going to be an out of some kind because it's a real high number. And in payoff pitch, that's the way it rolls. Yeah, well, you can use, you can do a combination of homebrew and fast action cards. I have homebrew on a few different things. I created a homebrew for the double zeros, right? Like this. Let's pull this out of the way here so I get some space to talk. So let's pull this over to the side. And homebrew, if I roll a 0-0 with nobody on base, that's going to be a defensive check. It's a defensive check. All right. So I've added defensive checks range or error to this roll because there's on this rare play chart, there's check for injury, check for injury, check for injury, then rain out, batter ejected, check for injury, pitcher ejected. I can't do that. I can't eject my players because I'm playing. Can't see the cards really that much. I don't know why. Oh, I know why. Because when I put yeah, that's what happens. Let's see. I think you see him better now. Okay, so anyway, yeah, so that's why I do the 0-0 now in my homebrew is going to be defensive check, but still I still use rare plays with runner on first. Why? Because here's where you get your pass balls, some wild pitches, you get your balk, you get another wheelhouse, which makes it exciting. You get you got a potential triple play with runners on first and second. You got a pickoff, and you got wild pitches. You got a lot of different. You got pass balls. So that's why I'm still using the runner on first. So a runner on base. Excuse me. So if there's a runner on base and I roll 0-0, then I'm going to pull off this one. So I still have rare plays, just the different kind of rare play. So that's the way I do that. And I just wanted to. So you can have a homebrew. Alan was talking about doing a homebrew or partial homebrew with something. I forgot what it was. On IP card. All right. So this is pictures, right? There you go. So IP card is bigger. There you go. Got both cards there. All right. So there you go. The different size cards. I can see these. I can see this well. I can see that. Easy to read. Easy to read. I'll tell you, there's some stuff that's not so easy to read. I'll be honest with you. Some other, companies' cards are not so easy to read. Not so easy to read. So this is a concern, Not so easy to read. Not so easy to read. I think that even gets smaller, right? Not so easy to read there. All right, so really, really tiny font. This is probably like an 8 font. This is like a 12 font. So that's going to get difficult. I don't know if they're going to have to make their cards bigger or what that's going to mean for the future. But it's getting harder and harder to read those. And if you don't have a lot of light on them, it's really hard to read. Here's Replay Baseball. Replay Baseball. And here are the Toronto Blue Jays. 2015 Toronto Blue Jays. I got the 2015 set. It was $30 for 8 teams. Yeah. Because I didn't want to pay $60 for a bunch of teams that I may not use. This is a replay. That's the replay card. Right. Josh Donaldson. So again, this is about columns and rows, and you add them up. You add the pitcher with the hitter. So you got a 4. You roll a 4-2, and then well, let's not do 4. Let's do 3. You roll a 3-2 is an 11, and then a 3-3 on a pitcher is like, I don't know, 5. It'll be 11 plus 5 is 16, and then you look at the chart, and then it tells you what the result is. Some of these are automatic. In other words, you know what they are automatically. Like if it's column 1, it's probably going to be a strikeout because that's a 1, and most pitchers, especially from in modern times, are going to have low numbers at columns 1 and 2. That's your strikeouts. So from 2 to 6, any result, any 2 results from each of the cards that you add, the pitcher and then the batter, right? Like if I roll whatever a 1-2 and a 1-2-2, then I'm going to look at the 1-2 on the batter card, and I'm going to look at the 1-2 on the pitcher card, and then if they both have 1s there, that's going to be a total of 2. Well, on column 1 in the chart, it's a 6-column chart, and it's pretty easy to read. It's going to be a 2 to 6 in columns 1 and 2 is always a strikeout. So it goes pretty quick. I mean, and once you learn what's going on and you get a good feel for what's going on, it's fun. It's a fun game. I like replay. I have replay. I have a couple of sets. I was going to get the replay 76 set, but then I saw somebody recommended, it was Ben who recommended I get Inside Pitch, and I really liked Inside Pitch because I don't know, I just, because again, you're not looking at a chart. Like Inside Pitch everything was resolved between the hitter and the batter, right? And I do it like this. I put the pitcher, if the pitcher's read first, I put it on the left side. So I read left to right. So with Inside Pitch, the cool thing that you have with Inside Pitch is that you read it from left to right. And then if I roll, let's say I'm rolling here, right, a 5-5, right? So the dark one is the column, and I start with the pitcher. A 5-5 is a potential error on a ground ball. So potential error on a ground ball, and then it's a 6-2 on the batter. 6-2, it's a ground ball to third. So it's a potential error on the third baseman, right? So then you look at your third baseman, and in parentheses, it's going to tell you, Mike, let's see a third baseman. See if we have a third baseman here. He plays third base. Probably didn't play very much third base. This is Tim Johnson. Tim Johnson, he's a Milwaukee Brewer from 1976. He didn't play much third base simply because, well, he probably played a lot of second base because he's got at least potential to have errors there. He has no potential for errors at third base and no potential for errors at shortstop. It's the number in parentheses. So for that, you're going to roll. Let's say it's a 6. He's playing second base, and it was a potential error at second base. Well, let's roll, and it's a 0. Oh, that's a. Oop. What happened to my 20-sided die? Did one of you guys take my 20-sided die? Yeah, I got another one coming up. So let's say you roll there. It's an 18, so there's no error. So then you're going to roll on the hitter's card to see what goes on, what happens. It moves over to the hitter's card. 5-3. And it's going to be a 5-3. Oh, no, actually, he makes the play. I'm sorry. My fault. So no error. So he makes the play. 5-3, throws him out. So I'm still learning this game. I haven't played in about a week. And I only played 5 games total. So it's going to take me a little bit to get used to it. So, yeah, that's it. So that's pretty much Inside Pitch. I don't know if you guys have any other questions about anything else. Good old Strat. Elastic bands are the devil's work. Yeah, absolutely. So listen, this is what I have going on here, my friend. Don't challenge me here. All right. This is what I got. This is the ugly one with my ugly chicken scratch. And then I got this thing. All right. Hold on. Let me see if I can find one real quick. No. Here it is. Got those, right? So I got these. I got these. The reason I have those in rubber bands is I just received them. This is the 1984 Chicago White Sox. White cards. All right, so I have that set. I have 84, 85, 86, 88. Somebody wrote on these. I don't know who. Somebody wrote on these at some point. I think that's their number, their uniform number. I think I got these from Greece, and the guy wrote on all. He wrote uniform numbers on all his. Yeah, they sold at a flea market in Greece, in Athens, Greece. That's where I got this set. I got 84s and 85s, I believe. Yeah, it was crazy. It was $70 to ship and $40, $30 for the cards. Something silly like that. So anyway, this is the APA cards, Stratomatic cards, excuse me. Greg Luzinski, he was a White Sox player. He hit 13 home runs and 400 at bats. So it's a downward spiral for Greg Luzinski, the Bull, in '84. So you see, I have the rubber bands are terrible. Rubber bands are terrible. Avoid them at all costs. You can get these envelopes at Office Depot. These cost a little bit more, but the guy has a sale right now. Guy has a sale on these. Go on eBay and look for envelopes, team envelopes, Stratomatic, and $11-12 to get a whole season. I think even up to 13. It depends on how many envelopes come. He's selling the 69 set for $10. I have an extra one. I thought I just bought 69, and I forgot that I bought it 2 years ago, and I had it sitting on my shelf. I do that a lot. One time I bought 3 2015 seasons. Yep. I kept on buying them and forgetting that I bought them because I received packages, and sometimes I don't open the packages. So somebody could potentially like sell me something, and it could be something totally different, and I'll never find out. Or I'll find out like 3 years later, and the guy's like run off to and he's living in Thailand, because he sold me some cards and he doesn't want me to track him down, some wrong cards or something, or who knows, whatever. But anyway, I have stuff in boxes that I never get to because I'm like, oh, I'll get to that. I have the 2006 Strat season that I want to play 2006 because Mets went a long way, at least to the playoffs in 2006. That was the last time. Between 2006 and 2015, they had a time there that they didn't make the playoffs, so that was a disappointing time. But I have that. Anything else? Manually roll on the yes. PC game. You can manually roll on the IP PC game and enter the results after the roll. Oh, cool. That would force me to buy the PC game and the season, right? As well, I would have to buy the PC game and then get the season, and then I can roll, use the cards, and I could input, and all the teams can play. Is that what you're saying? Forever? I think that's what you're saying. Hey there, Al, Red Sox fan. How you doing, brother? Where have you been? We've been waiting for you. We have been waiting for you. So this was an unboxing of a quick unboxing of Inside Pitch that's turned into an hour and 25-minute chat, going over lots of different cards and lots of different aspects of the different baseball teams, and talking about payoff pitch and inside pitch and even replay. And we even mentioned Strat a couple of times, and comparing and contrasting the different approaches by the game designers and Deep Drive Baseball. We had a talk on Deep Drive Baseball. Now, if you guys want to protect any of your cards, this is one way to go right here. You can fit the payoff pitch perfectly in these. These are for like baseball cards. See that? Perfect. Now, I don't know. They definitely won't fit inside pitch. I don't know if they'll fit a replay. They do fit replay. Look at that. So I can protect my replay cards as well that way. I'm not going to be able to protect my my inside pitch cards until they develop something a little bit. They probably have something out there a little bit larger. I'm not sure for those cards. Let me see. I'm mixing up a lot of the cards here. Let me put them all back. but I do have rubber bands around some sets because I don't know what else. I don't have the little baggies or anything. So like these are small. There's not a lot of cards here. So these are in rubber bands. I have the whole set wrapped up in rubber bands, but they are the devil's work. They are the devil's workshop. They destroy lots of cards. It's better to have envelopes or little plastic baggies. A lot of guys do little plastic baggies. But look what this guy did. Look what this guy did. He took his Strat cards and he taped baseball cards to it. Fernando Rodney. So he took I bought these for $10 a season. What season is this? Blah, 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 blah. I don't know what season this is. Hold on. This season is this is the Tampa Bay Rays. 2012. So this is the 2012 Tampa Bay Rays, and he took baseball cards and he taped them to the basic side. So it covers up the year, so I couldn't see what year is. But you know what? They're really easy to remove. They're very, very easy to remove, but the tape, I'm not going to be able to remove the tape. So there's going to be a little piece of tape on there. But if, let's say I want to remove them, just like that, with an X-Acto knife, boom, done. See that? Card's still intact. There is this little piece of tape, a little slither of Scotch tape there. And you can do the same thing down here. There you go. Off. Boom. So $10 for a whole 2012 season. But of course, he was like, oh, some of them have, and it was all in a big box, all kind of mixed up a little bit. I had to spend some time separating some stuff and finding different. It was a little bit of a little work, but it was okay. But yeah, that's what he did to the cards. He taped to the basic side. He was playing with his son, he told me, and I guess his son was like 9 or 10 or 11, and he was into the baseball cards. So to get him into the game, which is very cool. I don't mind that at all. So it's fine that he did that. My son thought when my son saw it, he's 18, and he was like, "Hey, that looks cool." So the kids think it's cool. So if the kids think it's cool, hey, that's fine. Anything, I played a 20. My son and I, we have post-traumatic stress disorder from the 2012 Yankee playoffs, because that particular year. The Yankees we expected the Yankees to really go deep into the playoffs, and they got through the first team, thanks to Raul Ibanez, but then it was the Detroit Tigers who they faced, and I think the American League Championship Series, I believe. This is the year that Derek Jeter got hurt in Game 1 in twilight. It was like a 4:00 game, and he gets hurt, I think, in the seventh, eighth inning, and we still remember that, and we remembered it clear as day. And that was nightmare when he started rolling around and he broke his ankle. He fractured his ankle. We still remember that game. So we have and then it was historically one of the worst offensive series for a team. Okay. It was a nightmare. Like Robinson Cano was like 3 for 30. Alex Rodriguez was 2 for 23. It was a nightmare series for us. But the other day, my son and I said, you know what? We're going to replay this series, and guess what happens? The Yankees come from behind with, I think, 4 runs in the. It's a Yankee Stadium because the crowd was going crazy. Bottom of the 7th, I think it was. They're down 3-0. They score 4 runs, and then they score another run in the 8th, I believe. And then Mo comes in the 9th. Pettit goes 8, and Mo comes in the 9th, and they win Game 1. So we have that series still on hold. I knew they could win that series. It was just a matter of rewriting history. So we got back to that series, and we were like, we could breathe a little bit, lighter, because suddenly there was justice in the universe. The universe was back in balance. Okay, the Yankees, there's no way they should have lost 4 straight to the Detroit Tigers and just had absolutely no offense whatsoever. Granted the Detroit pitchers were pretty decent that year. They had a bunch of good pitchers. I think Scherzer was on that team. Fister is on that team, and he's pitching well. Verlander's on that team, and he's impressive in 2012. I think he had a really good season in 2012. So, granted, they faced the Yankees. They faced a tremendous staff. The Yankees faced a tremendous staff on the Detroit Tigers, but no way, 4 straight games. Come on, the Yankees won a lot of games in 2012. They were a pretty darn good team. I think they won at least 100 games or almost 100 games. But they all of a sudden went cold. Their bats just died. They forget it, and that was shocking. We were in shock. We couldn't believe it. And every game it was just like every guy after I kept on coming up to bat and just striking out or grounding out, popping up and back, and we were we were affected. We were really affected by this game, and it was a nightmare for years and years. So we started to kind of replay that, and I was like, I think we put that season out of our mind. I was like, hey, you want to replay the 2012 season? And he was like, and I go, do you remember that, right? And he goes, yeah, I remember that. And he says, that's a good idea. Let's do it. So yeah, and the Yankees are down 3-0. They're losing 3-0 going into the bottom of the 7th inning. So yeah, it's like he couldn't get the offensive going either. But all of a sudden, boom, 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 bases loaded with 2 outs, and I think it's I can't remember who leads off with a hit. I think it's Granderson or somebody gets a hit to drive in a couple of runs, and that gets the offense going. And then Cano hits I think a 2-run triple, and that gives them the 4 runs to take a 4-3 lead. And so anyway, so yeah, that's a story for that. That's what this guy did. So look, see, different guys do different things, man. So that's why I have this still in rubber bands, because I just got this set. So I got to figure out what I'm going to do with that set. What else do I got over here? That's pretty much what I got for today. This is a 1 hour, 30-minute unboxing. Don't know if I have anything more to discuss right now. I was showing these cards, Deep Drive Baseball, really a clean card. These are only PDF though, so if you're not into the PDF, forget it. You got to print these out, but these are pretty nice. Robbie Cano, one of my favorite players of all time. He's of course past his prime now, but he batted .256 with 13 home runs and 400 plate appearances. Not a very good season, but he's on the way out, even though his contract still takes him through another 3 or 4 seasons. That's wacky. Jeff McNeil, he had a great season, batted .319, 23 home runs and almost 600 plate appearances. And then, of course, you got, this is the 2019 season. These are out already, man. For $1. Oh, no, actually, these are $12. So if you want to get the 2019 season, $12. And this is fun, so you can already start having that fun. I'm going to get this 2019 season and one other 2019 season. I'm not telling anybody who I'm going to buy it from. But, yeah, this is fun playing with all the new players and using them the way they were used, and getting a feel for the managing and how they managed, how the Mets were managed and so on. They have a terrible bullpen. Oh my God, nightmare. Except in the replay that I have, which I may turn into just like an exhibition, 30 exhibition games, because now I got ball stat up and running, ball score up and running. And somebody sent me, and I think it was ID Gesture who sent me the 1969 lineups. So I'm going to go I'm going to go kind of download those onto my desktop, and then put them into the rosters for 69. So I'll have all the lineups I mean, you got to guys, whoever's not into ball stat, ball score, there's a little bit of a learning curve, but I had to get guys to help me. ID Gesture has a good tutorial. It was a little bit too advanced for me. I got Alan. Hold on a second. Let me get his name. I'm coming down with something, by the way. I just got back from a trip to New York City, and I'm coming down with something, which really sucks because I haven't gotten sick in like 2-3 years. So I'm coming down with something. Let me. It was John Clausen, great guy. All right, and I'm sure a lot of you guys know him very well. He is a class act. John Clausen helped me out. He went step by step with me. We FaceTimed, and he followed the screen with me, and he guided me through it, and I was able to do it. And now I'm practicing, so I don't have to bother him anymore. But that's it, man. So, guys, this is an hour and 35-minute unboxing, and I'm running out of gas. So I'm going to say so long, and I will check you guys out and keep rolling baseball or whatever roll. And I know a lot of guys are doing boxing and football, and that's fine. So just enjoy yourself because life is short, and we need to do that. All right. So I hope I gave you guys some information and some entertainment, and I will see you guys soon with some replays, some baseball replays. Take care.